Assassin's Creed Mirage has finally shown off some of its gameplay in about a 2-minute trailer that came out at the PlayStation Showcase event from a couple of days before this video would have come out. Now, I wanted to go over a few things about this trailer because there's a lot of good. There are one or two things that I am concerned about, but we'll talk about those. And I also want to go over some of the expectations for this game because I think people have a lot of out of whack expectations, whether it's really I'll go over it in a minute. Anyway, before we start the video, apologies for the lack of uploads. I was on vacation for a couple of weeks and I just didn't have time to have videos ready for said time, so that's why I haven't posted, but we're back. And if you do enjoy this content, remember to leave it a big old like. And if you want more content like this because you enjoy it so much, well, check out that button underneath the video. It used to be red. It still says subscribe. Last but not least, got to thank my channel members. You guys help make these videos possible. If you want to join, get access to the exclusive perks that you get, be sure to check out that blue join button. Anyway, let's begin. First things first, let's talk expectations. A lot of people have had weird expectations for this game, including myself. I would say I had some weird expectations really because I didn't know what to entirely expect. A lot of the marketing and interviews with the devs leading up to this game has lent some people to believe this is going to be the spiritual successor to Assassin's Creed Unity or this new take on Assassin's Creed 1. And I think in reality what this game is kind of what a lot of rumors have also stated, is that it's a Valhalla DLC. And honestly, I think it's somewhere between those two things. I do think that it's a bit more high quality than just glorified Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC. I also don't think it's a full-fledged AAA spiritual successor and return to form for Assassin's Creed that would have brought us a new Unity-style game. Is it a game that has more emphasis on stealth and parkour and blending with crowds and dense cities? Yes. Is it a game that appears to have advanced parkour mechanics and functionality and fun movement? That's a little bit iffy. Now, it will tie into the lore of the franchise because, of course, Basim is the main antagonist at the end of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Spoiler alert, by the way. I know some people who bought the game when it launched probably haven't finished it yet because it's 150 hours long, but he is, and you're welcome for spoiling it for you. And he will, of course, in this game, will tie into that game in a lot of ways, I'm sure. And I'm sure there's going to be some weird things that happen. So it will tie into the lore of Assassin's Creed, but probably not in the lore that a lot of purists would like. So it's kind of a weird game. It's this very much blending of new and old. And it feels a lot like Ubisoft is just kind of dipping their toes back into this classic style. Can we blend that classic style with what we have established in a new way, such as selling armor packs? You'll notice the deluxe edition trailer already came out, so you can get your glowy swords. I like the Prince of Persia tie-in. Don't like the glowy swords. Things don't always have to be glowing. Just things can be grounded. And for the most part, the rest of this game seems pretty grounded. Basim has his assassin hood, his hidden blade. He doesn't seem to have any magical lack of fall damage. He just, he's a guy in a place who has to learn how to become an assassin and do cool things. Now, there is one weird moment where he seems to teleport. Is that animus magic? Is it just weird cuts in the video? I don't know. Was a little bit strange to see. Not sure it fits in as well as that ability did in a game like Odyssey, because Odyssey was, of course, much more fantastical, and this game is not supposed to be fantastical at all. In fact, they said it wasn't supposed to be fantastical at all, and it was supposed to be much more grounded. So it's odd how so many things seem to be in this weird medium, and I think that's where our expectations need to be. Don't assume that you're going to come into this and have Assassin's Creed 1 remade in 4K on modern tech with a new story, but also don't go into it thinking this is just Valhalla reskinned, because it seems like there are some new interesting things and returns to what the franchise is supposed to be. And it is weird to praise this game for simply having this return to assassin iconography, for example. It's weird that a franchise would abandon its iconic look to just ignore it for some reason, and then they bring it back and we're like, oh my gosh, look, assassins with hoods on again. Amazing. That just seems weird. But anyway, let's talk about the trailer. First things first, Baghdad looks gorgeous. I think the setting is perfect not only for the franchise, because it has that familiarity, that callback. Some of the best games are set in these more desert type settings, such as Origins, such as Revelations. Of course, the original game is set in the Levant, and here 9th century Baghdad, the circular city, looks fantastic. Now, this game does still look like it's on Valhalla's engine, or the RPG engine, whatever you want to call it. It is not a brand new generation looking game. It just is not. And, you know, again, that goes into expectations. It was always going to be built on this type of an engine, so I kind of expected it to look like this. That doesn't mean it doesn't look beautiful. It still looks gorgeous. Of course, much more reminiscent of Origins, where you have this desert with the lush colors all over the place. I think it really looks nice, and again, one of my favorite types of settings. The parkour we get a brief glimpse of does not look as... It doesn't look as good as it could be. It is about what I expected it to be, where it's Origins parkour with a little bit more to it with the pole vault thing, and I'm sure there's a couple other tricks in there that we'll be able to pick up and learn, but it looks relatively basic like the other RPG games, but a bit more sped up. So that's why I compare it more to Origins than something like Valhalla, where you're just a tank running around on ropes all day. Would I have preferred something closer to Unity? Sure. Did I expect them to do all that? No. Now, speaking of traversal, we do also see a camel, which we know we'll be able to ride around the outskirts of the city, as well as around the lands near Alamut, where the castle is being built. Hopefully we spend more time on rooftops than on the back of a camel, but time will tell. Would be unfortunate for a return to form to spend less time on rooftops running around assassinating people than on the back of a camel. That just is not exactly the experience I would want to go for, but we'll have to see how that goes. One thing I will praise massively is how much better the combat looks. Combat looks fantastically smooth. I don't want to say it looks amazing yet, because we haven't really seen an extended combat scenario, what it'll play like, but one of my biggest complaints with Valhalla is how ridiculously goofy the combat animations look, the wild swinging that just, it looked like Fortnite. Didn't make any sense, didn't like it, very slow, always felt like you were delayed doing some kind of random animation. And while they do recycle a lot of animations with the assassinations and whatnot, everything seems a lot faster, a lot smoother, and a lot tighter, and that's really something I love to see. In interviews, they said Basim is supposed to be one of the fastest assassins that we've had, and that seems to be reflected here. He does some things again that look a lot like Eivor, which does make some sense considering he kind of showed Eivor how to assassinate people in Valhalla, if you remember that. Apologies for the lack of Valhalla footage, I deleted that a long time ago. But he does show off a lot of those same moves, and they look a lot smoother, combat especially. Lastly, we get a sneak peek at Blackbox Missions, which is awesome to have those coming back, and there's a lot of things that we seem to get a glimpse at as to what we'll be able to do to explore each one of our situations. Seems like we can bribe guards. Similar mechanic to what we had in the Ezio games, where you could pretty much walk up and bribe the town criers to be able to take down some of your notoriety, which will be coming back in this game. There is going to be a notoriety system, and there's also pickpocketing. So again, if you remember, you could bribe a town crier and then pickpocket him for your money back. It seems like we'll be able to bribe people. I don't know if we'll be able to pickpocket the money right back from them. Maybe, because pickpocketing is back in this game, and so that should help open up some really cool opportunities for us as we go around Baghdad searching for different assassination opportunities before finally getting at least what this seems to be is a unique assassination cutscene. So I am happy to see that. It will be cool to see how many of those we can unlock as we go along, and hopefully there's a way to replay these missions. I know they said that there's not going to be a way like the old games. They could just go into the sequencing and pick which sequence you wanted to replay. I wish there was some way we could replay the black box missions, because those are always fun to go back and try and find a different route to get the kill, almost like a Hitman mission. So that'll be interesting to see. Hopefully it's something they add into the game if it's not there on launch. Again, it just adds the replayability of these games, especially going back to some of the early missions, maybe with some new tools and seeing how you can explore it in that way. But again, that's a topic for another video. I also want to point out the unique kill in this trailer seems to be a nod to Ezio when he jumps off with a rope in the Revelations intro scene. So that was nice to see, but again, we'll have to see more. I'm very much looking forward to Ubisoft Forward, where we probably will see much more extended gameplay, really see what things are about. There's a lot of scenes in this trailer that seem to be cut up a little bit too much, so it's hard to tell certain things, and being able to get a full extended gameplay segment will be great to be able to sit down and break down for all of you. So anyway, let me know down below, what do you think of Assassin's Creed Mirage so far? Does it live up to its subtitle, or is this the game that's going to bring Assassin's Creed back? Let me know down below, let's have a conversation about it, and I will see you in the next video.
الساحة ملكك يا باسم.